Alright, so I'm going to show you how to insert a picture into AutoCAD. So instead of using the Ivy Tech logo, you can use your personal logo. And and I don't think it's really simple to do it in AutoCAD, so I'm going to show you how to do it, and this is the simplest way I have found. So I have a completely new drawing open. Okay, I'm in model space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach an image. So I click on the attach button, and it's going to open up a dialog box. I'm going to browse the image. Now, I'm going to tell you to skip, or before you do any of this, put the image in the same folder as you are going to put this block. Okay, so put it in a folder, a common folder that you use. Do not leave it in the downloads. I'm going to click on the image that I want. I'm going to hit open. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to put it down here close to where my origin point is, and I'm going to type a 1, so it's at a 1-to-1 scale, so it's the correct size. So I'm left with just this image that I've brought in. So I have this image brought in, but I'm going to make this into a CAD file. Okay, and so I want this image as a CAD file. So what you can do it one of two ways. You can either come up here to block and write a new block, okay, or you can type W block. Okay, and so I pull up my right block option. So the first thing it does is it wants to know source, block, entire drawing, objects. I always do objects. Okay, wants to know what base point we want to use. Okay, base point tells AutoCAD where to insert the file from. What point? On this object, I'm going to do my bottom left-hand corner as my base point. So I just click. Okay, so it locates it in the XYZ. Okay, next it wants to know what objects do we want to make the block. I click there, and I'm going just to the outside of my image, and I'm clicking. Okay, and then I'm going to space bar to get back to it. So it now knows what objects I want, base point. Next, you put the file location. Okay, so so wherever you saved your picture, put this write this block in that same location. Okay, I'm gonna hit cancel. You need to hit save. I already created this earlier today, so because I did it earlier today, I'm not going to redo it. Okay, so I'm going to close out. Okay, once I have this block written, I can close it. I don't need to save the changes, and I'm going back to my title block that I'm beginning to make. Okay, in this title block, okay, I need to get that image right here on the left of my title block information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it in, but I'm going to bring it in using the X reference command, which is XA. I do not know where it is on here. It may be in here, edit referencing, okay, X stating. I don't know exactly where the X reference command is, but I type in XA and I bring it in. Okay, so XA, bring it in, wants to know what CAD file I want. I want Empire. Okay. Notice it brings it in. It asks me a bunch of different information. I'm going to click OK. Notice where my cursor is. Okay, the thing is sitting on my X, my XY. So I can just click and it brings in my image the way I want it. Well, one of the things is like now I have my icon, now I have my logo, but it's not in the correct location. So I have to begin to manipulate it and bring it in. Well, how you manipulate it is by using the Modify tab. So I'm back on my home ribbon, and I go over to this dialog box and click Modify. Well, this bottom left allows us to align our image to our title block, and it will automatically scale it for us. So I activate Align. First thing it prompts me to do is what objects I want to do with that. image I just brought in. Okay? So I clicked on it. When I have all of the objects I want, I hit space. Specify the first point, top right. Okay, the first point that I want. Well, it wants to know where do I want that one point to finish at. I want it to finish right there. So it wanted to get that corner to there. Okay, it wants to know specify the second point. So I'm going to do the bottom right. Okay, and then it says final destination, bottom left. Okay, now we can do a third point and it can stretch it in a different direction, but we don't need to do that. We need to hit space. Okay, scale object based on alignment points. Yes. So based on the points that I gave it, it now aligned and scaled the object in it. Okay, so there's the first thing. So what I've done is I've went through all of this, right, all of this along the way, and we've inserted. Okay, we've inserted it. So now we've scaled the logo. If not, undo and try again. I'm going to tell you the first time I did it, it took me 5 or 6 times to get right. Okay, and so don't be upset if it takes you a little bit. Next, save the title block when complete using the bottom right hand corner as insertion point. So what we're going to do is now this title block information that you have filled out, we're going to write a block using it. So W block, okay, wants to know insertion point. Well, my insertion point I'm going to use is my bottom right hand corner. So I click, wants to know objects. All of my objects are right there. You don't want that A. Okay, I don't want the insertion point. Okay, objects. I don't want the A. Space, move through. Name it. Okay, I would name it as title block. Save. Okay. So now if I come in here and I want to insert it as a title block, okay, notice what it did. It just brought in that information. So you're able to use that. Okay. So the next thing we need to do, save the title block, okay. We need to isolate the revisions block and create a block from them using the upper right hand corner as insertion point. That's pretty simple. Okay. We come in, right block, okay, pick point. My point is right there. Select objects. Okay. Objects, everything I highlighted, so I got all of this is what it is. Okay, we have our object selected. We're going to call this revisions. Revisions block. Let's go revisions. Yeah, revisions block. We hit OK. We hit OK. So now if we come and we insert it, okay, we can insert just our revisions block. So now we have that bit of information. Next thing, I want you to isolate the border between the block using a diagonal, the midpoint of a diagonal line as an insertion point. Do not include this when we create a block. Okay? So I don't need any of this, so I'm just going to erase it. And I don't need any of this, so I'm just going to erase it. Okay? And I'm going to need to draw a line from the diagonal. Okay? Drawing a line across the diagonal. And I'm going to write a block. Base point, okay, it's going to be my midpoint of this line. Now I'm going to show you I can't activate my mid, so I'm just going to type mid and it automatically snaps to that midpoint. So that is my base point I want. Next, it wants to know what objects I need. Okay, and I need everything but that line. Everything but that line. I have my objects. I'm going to name it order and save and hit OK. So now I've created 3 blocks. Okay, 3 blocks that are allowing me to create this. So our next step is next we will create 2 new layout tabs for different sizes. Okay, right click on the layout tab and choose new layout. By default, it will come up an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper with no title block or border. We will need to delete the viewport, draw diagonal as instruction on the paper. This will be used to center the border. We will insert more options to border on layout using the diagonal demonstrated in 101, where we need to be aware of the scale and original border of 2.5 by 21 for a D size. Okay, if we want to maintain an 1.5 border on the new A size sheet, we need to calculate X and Y, which is going to be X is going to be a 0.377 and a Y is going to be a 0.375. We will insert the block and place one value in the X and Y calculations. So, real quickly, plus, okay, we have new layout. We're now on layout number 1. Notice what happened. Okay, notice what happened is that it already has something on it. Well, what it has on it's called our viewport. It's seeing what we have on our model space. So as of right now, we need to delete it. But we need to draw a diagonal line the best we can all the way across this piece of paper. Okay. From there, we're going to insert our border. Okay. Browse. Okay. Border. The border that we made was for a D size sheet, and we are making an A size sheet. So on the A size, we need to go back to our document and get our values. So our X is going to be is going to be that value. So going back to AutoCAD, we change our scale, right? And then we change our Y scale. Okay? And we hit OK. Well, notice how much it shrunk it. Okay? Notice how much it shrunk it. But we need to find a place to locate it with squarely in our shape. Well, that's what that midpoint was for. So we can take our midpoints across and we can place our new border within. Okay? And I don't need that, so I'm going to erase that. Okay? And so now I have the insertion of my title block, of my border. And we'll start here on the next one.